I'm Tom Voelk for EV Universe, and there's always an EPA-rated range when it comes to electric vehicles. With the EV6 GT, I'm looking at the real-world range. In my first piece, I took on Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I didn't hit the top speed of 161 miles an hour. We are up to 120. But did get a solid taste of what it can do, including drift mode if you want to destroy expensive Goodyear Eagle F1 asymmetrical tires. Love that. At around $63,000, the most powerful Kia ever is easily half the price of a Porsche Taycan with similar performance figures. It was a great day of driving, but the one thing that couldn't be tested was how far it goes before needing a kilowatt cocktail. So I snagged a GT for a couple days to figure it out. Let's do the range of ranges when it comes to EV6, because there's quite a spread. The EPA rates the rear drive model at 310 miles, all-wheel drive as high as 282. The GT here, 206, which happens to be Seattle's area code. That's what happens when you add more powerful motors and performance tires. I saw the same issue when I drove a BMW i4 M50. The optional sticky rubber alone shaves 43 miles off the traveling distance. It happens in gas-powered cars too. It's just much easier to gauge in an EV. Kia sells an EV6 GT line that's less potent than the GT, and the EPA-rated range on that all-wheel drive model is 252 miles, an extra 46 miles or 74 kilometers. Here's what drains the range.
So we take the rear motor that's in the standard dual motor configuration for a Wind or a GT line, and we bring that 160 kilowatt rated motor to the front. And then we add an even more powerful motor to the back. So that's 270 kilowatts. That's how you get your 430 kilowatts. It's about 576 horsepower and change. And then also from a torque standpoint, it's pretty off the charts, 545 pound-feet. It's actually a smidge higher than that.
The GT adds a new mode to wring the most out of the updated equipment. The dedicated suspension gets electronically controlled dampers. Firmness depends on the drive mode. Front suspension components are unique, and there's an electronic limited slip differential, larger brakes too. The front rotors are 15 inches, the rears are 14.2. The stronger calipers are the surest sign of buying the fast EV6 because the bodywork tweaks front and rear are subtle. But this video is about efficiency, not performance. The GT is extremely quick. 0 to 60 happens in just over 3 seconds. But accelerating like that destroys range. I'm going to be kind of conservative on the throttle for this range test. I showed a couple folks the near violent acceleration. Factor that into the results. I'm in eco mode, and yeah, probably adds some range, but the real advantage, it makes this high-performance machine a daily driver. It's very docile, not high-strung at all. The firmer suspension and low-profile tires changes the ride quality, though. The difference between the GT and less potent EV6s is noticeable. Not a deal-breaker, but it's there. If you understand electric vehicles at all, you know what lowers the range: cold temperatures, rain or snow on the road, and using the HVAC system, though all-wheel drive EV6s come with a more efficient heat pump. Also, anything that uses electricity, the excellent Meridian sound system, heated seats and steering wheel, headlights, all of those drop the distance to various degrees. And EVs are less efficient at highway speeds, where about half of my test happened, and half of that was done at speeds at around 70 miles an hour. I tried to mix it all in. The large head-up display is especially useful, but really hard to shoot. All the smart people say that EVs are better for the environment, cradle to grave, but not all are created equal. The GT model is less efficient than many, just like a V8-powered Mustang Mach-1 gulps more gas than an EcoBoost model. Compared to the most efficient EV6, the GT here will cost around $300 more annually to fuel up. So while EVs don't have tailpipe emissions, some of them are greener than others. To better lighten your carbon footprint, ride a bike, walk, or take mass transit. EVs are good though. Coal makes up a shrinking amount of power generation, and the environmental impact of drilling for petroleum is just as damaging or more so than mining battery materials. Hey, I had a lot of time to think while I was driving. I really like the recuperation setup in this vehicle. You can back it all the way off so there's no drag whatsoever, or make it much more aggressive. One pedal driving is easily a thing. Choice. It's a really good thing to have. On the track, I could appreciate that the 77.4 kilowatt hour liquid-cooled lithium-ion pack in the floor keeps the center of gravity low. I could also feel its heft when slinging it hard through curves. The GT weighs about 4,800 pounds or 2,170 kilos. And it's something that's felt in everyday driving, especially in eco mode when the shocks are relaxed. There is some road feel coming up through the steering wheel, not a ton though. All right, the moment of truth, what we've all come here for, the range. Keep in mind that it's around 50 degrees here in Seattle. I've done an even split of highway and city driving, and I haven't driven too aggressively. I am getting about what the EPA rates this at, 200 miles. That is my real-world experience with the EV6 GT. Keep in mind that I only had this car for a couple days, and I could only really get one cycle out of the battery before I had to give it back. Driving 200 miles, especially in the city, is harder than you might think. Other than the pop of piping in the GT, the cabin looks much the same as the GT line with this texture here and here. The ambient lighting is always Kermit green in the GT. It changes color with the drive modes in the GT line. And then there are the seats that cradle drivers of all sizes well, since the dramatic bolstering is on the soft side. Heated but not vented, they do not get power adjustments. When the EV6 needs to be juiced up, it can do it rapidly. There are many variables when it comes to charging speed, but EV6 has advantages. In ideal conditions and situations, the 800-volt eGMP platform that it shares with Ioniq 5 can charge from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes.
Charging started.
Getting that lofty ability means using a 350 kilowatt station, which is not nearly as popular as these 150 units. And if you don't travel a lot and you charge at home, charge speed doesn't really matter as much, because if you're using level 2, you plug in at night and wake up to a full battery. At this 150 kilowatt terminal, it took 27 minutes to go from 3 to 80%, since this was the highest power delivery offered up. Like all EVs, once 80% happens, the charge curve slows dramatically to protect the pack. Yes, the GT hauls butt, and people too. Here, head, knee, and legroom are generous, and that's a good thing because footroom is not. Storage is scarce, these are small, and there are no pockets here. Boo hiss. The floor is at its higher level to stow the vehicle-to-load adapter that plugs into the charge port. There's a 120-volt outlet in the back seat too. The trunk is deep, so these help. Seats up, there's 24 cubic feet of storage. Wish there was a pass-through or 40-20-40 split seats. All of them down, there's 50 cubes. Remember, no frunk. Only a decade ago, this kind of go fast meant a horse or bull logo on the hood. Kia, with its squiggly new signage, has pulled itself up by its bootstraps in dramatic fashion. To be pragmatic, it would be difficult to use the superhero performance of the GT on a regular basis on public roads. It's extremely powerful and capable. You might be better off going with the GT line. It's cheaper, it has better range, and it's still fun to drive, but still, the bragging rights of this, mighty appealing. For track days, this would be a hoot. And if nothing else, it sends the message that Kia is no longer the cheap and cheerful automaker. The GT is serious about performance, if not road tripping. For EV Universe, I'm Tom Voelk.